Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the preview for the game against Nottingham Forest away from home. Hopefully, a lot of people are feeling a lot more confident and positive after that performance, of course, against Aston Villa. Let's hope we can start to form some bits of consistency going into games. You don't just want to win one and then fucking lose one and then win one and then lose one. You want start getting a string of games together now. 4, 5, 6 wins if it's ever possible with this team. I want to kick things off with the Aston Villa performance in particular, just to kind of recap the minds a little bit, and I'll go to you, Shreyas, first on this one. What can we take from that game heading into this one?
Midfield.
Yeah, that's a very good
I mean,
point.
yeah, if one thing, if we can take away from the Villa game is that the moment you put anyone but Scott McTominay in that midfield, someone who is very good on the ball, has a good passing range and good passing delivery on him, this midfield actually starts working quite better. And I think Eriksen is someone we missed out, a lot when he was injured. I think if he was available, probably we could have had better performances because having Eriksen actually helps Bruno out a lot as well. Because for the first time in so many games, we are actually seeing Bruno do the role that he's supposed to be doing, feed the attackers, be in the right areas to actually deliver the pass. And that is the reason why Rashford and Garnacho, they had such good games. And
Yeah.
I think Menu as well, he had a mistake against West Ham, once again got the start against Villa, and he was absolutely amazing against Villa as well. So I think at least till the time, Casemiro and Mount come back, I think this is the midfield that we should stick with, like no changes at all, because this midfield actually works. It doesn't get overrun. It is able to solidify itself in the midline. And even though I would say we don't have as many physical characters, we do have players who are very good on the ball. So, and because they're able to pass out from the press that well, it doesn't create as much of an overload on Menu, so that he gets alone by himself or he gets overrun. So I think this actually works. Play Garnacho at right wing. He's much more natural there. He seems like much more of a natural threat playing off the right. I think even give Rashford another go as well because I think he had arguably one of his best games of the season against Villa. Pick Rashford as well. Hoyland, hopefully he is able to string some more goals together after getting his first against Villa. So I think overall, just leave the team intact the way it was. Maybe if Luke Shaw is available, just put him in place of Dallo. But even if Dallo starts, I don't have as much of a problem right now because I think if we are able to just go in with the same 11, week after week after week, probably it starts working and we string a number of wins together.
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of decent individual performances, Sam. A lot of players who played really well, but equally, I thought as a team, collectively, we stuck in. The press was just far much better. There was people committing to it, defended like a unit as well, which is what we've all been craving in terms of a team performance. Why do you think it's taken so long to get a performance like that out? We're what 3, 4, 5 months into the season so far.
I think, like Shreya said, with consistency, we haven't had a team to select from that can be consistent. Like we've had 11 centre back pairings so far this
Something
season.
Yeah.
About 5 or 6 different fullbacks in out of position with Amrabat there at one point as well. Like, so you can say midfield wise, we've not had a consistent midfield because Mason Mount's been supposed to be an integral part of this midfield and has been out, in, out, not really sort of doing much. Casemiro's been out for a while and he started off poor as well. You had then Eriksen was out as well with a knee injury, so like the consistency there. So he's just like there's been no sort of team togetherness like we had last season. We had very minimal injuries last season. We got quite lucky considering the amount of games we played and the amount of lengths we went to. We had very few injuries, which I think Eriksen was the only one, wasn't it? I think he was the only sort of major injury that we had.
Well, no, Sandro, sorry, of course, with the 6 months
at the back end of the season.
Yes.
at the back end of the season, yeah.
So we sort of coped with it quite well. This season, we just don't seem to have coped very well at all. And I think certain players who played extremely well last season or stepped up to the plate haven't stepped up this season. Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, that kind of thing. And we don't have a recognised striker as much. Like last season, Rashford was scoring all our goals, and I think if Rashford hadn't scored all those goals last season, we'd probably be in a bit of a sticky situation last season.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
we had no striker that was actually scoring. And then this season is very similar because Hoyland has come in, and he's looked promising, especially in the Champions League, but in the Premier League hasn't really got it done. But that's mainly down to the lack of service to him. and then you haven't got anybody else to call upon. Say Rasmus is struggling or he's been injured. You've got nobody to put in there. Like Martial, like the guy should have gone about 4 years ago. So it's a lack. I think it's just a lack of consistency. I think if we get, like Shrey said, if we get a stringer together of like 6-7 games with a similar team, and they start playing together, start working each other out, because that chemistry with Rashford and Højlund isn't quite there. Isn't quite there with Bruno and Højlund. I think the more they play together, the more that chemistry will come, and the more chances, and then they'll become confident, etc. That's got to be the hope. But again, injuries happen to every team, and you can't just use it as a blanket excuse. But I think there's a lot to do with it.
Sticking with the attack, Shreyas, I thought the performance against Villa, well, the positions were interesting because every time we've seen Marcus, Højlund, and Garnacho as a three, it's always been you put Garnacho on the left-hand side and then Marcus on the right, and he's basically null and void on the right-hand side. And he's like that as a striker as well. Rashford's best side is the left side. We've spoken about him a little bit. But Garnacho on the right was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was. One thing about Garnacho of the right was he was committing a lot more, because off the left you can see for some reason he used to take on defenders, but naturally in the 10 occasions he used to just seek for Højlund like just once or twice. Off the right, I think he commits a lot more moving forward, even if it's interlinking with Højlund or just going for goal. It provides him a lot of space, and I think he's much more comfortable playing off the right hand side. And I think with Rashford, the thing is his best position is off the left. And after so many games, he was brought back into the team. And for once, we were actually seeing Rashford actually do the things that he's known for, running at defenders, using his space to his advantage against defenders. That's the thing that, actually makes him a threat. And he was using those things. With Garnacho, the thing is, this season, he's become a much more of a goal, a goal outlet for us. Even though he's just 19 years old, he's someone who's been providing for us week in and week out. And I think this is the first time in the attack I've seen the attack actually working. Because up until now, every single game, I've just seen an imbalance, whether it's Garnacho of the left, Antony on the right, or Rashford of the left, Antony on the right. This is the first time I've seen our attack actually being much more coordinated, much more, much more of a deadly threat to opposition teams. Because if it was Antony or even Rashford, teams just know how to counter us when we are moving forward. And maybe with Garnacho and Rashford, we were able to eliminate that to quite some extent.
I think one word I'd probably use, Sam, is balance in it, because I think that front three, like Shrey said there, Rashford in his best position, Garnacho seems to suit that right hand to a T, and he's starting to be a little link with the striker as well. But then in the midfield, Kobbie Mainoo brings the balance of his own, and I think Christian Eriksen as well in it, coming back in. Then Bruno can play as a 10, which we've been moaning about for ages, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we saw that last year with our winning midfield last year was Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno.
Yeah.
Like, it worked so well, and we did really sort of successful last season with that midfield. And Kobbie Mainoo is basically the sort of Casemiro. He's obviously, you can't compare him to Casemiro because he's an 18-year-old kid in his first debut season, but he's playing the Casemiro position because he has that sort of mentality. He's calm, collected, can pick a pass, he can break play up, he's in the right position, he never gets too flustered, never gets like overworked, he just knows where to do it, and that's why that midfield works so well. Eriksen is also an extremely intelligent player. Like, he's not blessed with pace, as we saw against Villa with that ball in behind you. Just thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, that is the worst guy to be running onto a ball I've ever, just, you don't want anyone running onto that ball except Christian Eriksen. Like, Jesus. Yeah. He's not blessed with pace. However, what he is really good at is positional play and his intelligence. So he knows he can't just vacate the position and leave Kobbie by himself, because A, he's not got the pace to get back and do that, and B, he knows if he leaves him exposed, it then makes more work. So he's intelligent enough to know that. So he positions himself where he's in a good enough position where he can feed Bruno and he can pick passes, but he's also close enough to Kobbie to keep those triangles and keep that space where it's not a massive gap. Whereas you see when Scott McTominay plays there, he thinks he's a striker, he just fucks off into the box every time on the thing, and then doesn't bother to track back. We've seen him so many times just jog, like casually jogging back, and it's frustrating.
What game was it where Bruno tracked back for him? Do you remember? And he was fucking screaming. He gave a foul, and then they scored from that free kick, didn't they? I think.
I remember.
So.
But yeah, so that's an example. I think we need to get that midfield balance similar to what it is now. Obviously, Ericsson don't have the legs, and maybe he tires towards the end. But that's where you can bring on Scott McTominay for the last 10 minutes. Like if you need a goal or you need to sort of like show some football, you bring on, say Mason Mount comes back, you bring on Mason Mount to sort of like pick those passes out and stay with it. So that's where you
still got Amrabat.
You got Amrabat as well.
Bring him on.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So you use these players like that. If you put Scott McTominay in this midfield, you're basically going to cost yourself the game.
Killing us.
That's what Ten Hag's going to do. If you put Scott McTominay in this midfield, starting him, you're costing yourself the game. And then you're going to have to fight all the way to the end. And it's not going to help you thing. So I think he needs to play this, if not the same midfield, similar structure midfield from now on. But we'll see what happens as the season goes on.
The one thing I've got scratching in the back of my brain, Shreyas, is the fact that I've seen this team capable of pulling out a performance like this. I mean, that was probably the best performance against Villa. But let's say the Chelsea one, or there's maybe a handful more, where you've seen us perform really well, but then in the next game they fucking throw the towel in. So is there any concern from your part that we may see a case of this again going into the next game against Forest?
Considering from what I've seen this season and just United in the past few seasons as well, I think this team does have the quality to just go away to Nottingham Forest and lose like 3-0. It's not out of their playbook. This can happen. I think one thing that United should be doing is avoid the loss. I would say even if we get the a draw against Forest, at least you can say it's not a loss, and you can build on it, like win, draw, win, draw. A loss is going to be even worse for this team right now, because I think this team is in a very delicate position when it comes to mental strength. You win a game by playing such good football, then you go out to Nottingham Forest and put a completely unconvincing performance. You know how this team works and how fickle-minded they are. So I think definitely Forest definitely are not an easy team to play against right now. They've also had one of their best results this season against Newcastle. They're a team who have got players who can cause you issues. One thing is United cannot take them lightly. And if I'm Ten Hag, please don't walk around or experiment with the starting 11 right now. Just keep it intact the way it is. No need to put Scott McTominay or any new players in. Just keep the same starting 11, the winning combination, and I would still say just build on it, like 5 games on a row, and then probably when Lisandro comes back, Casemiro comes back, you put them in, and in a way it can help us in building quality even more.
Yeah, we always seem to get a manager bounce. I know he's already had a game or a couple of games, but I always feel like United play the team that's just sacked the manager, and it's like, right, Nuno's in now. I mean, you watched him against Newcastle, Sam. He was really, really good counter-attacking.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Chris Wood was like a prime Adriano for that game. I'm sure there was punters who put like 20 quid on him scoring a hat-trick, and made like 5-10 grand off. It's just crazy. So he was playing out of his skin, which you rarely see from him. He's obviously got players playing for him. They're buying into this kind of system. But one player who's moved from Manchester United, who we know very well, who we've spoken about before, who you said on record before that you like, is Elanga. What have you made of him since he's moved to Forest?
It shows, doesn't it? Like when players leave United, they tend to show the quality that we wanted from him and that we expected from him. Andreas Pereira has gone to Fulham and arguably looked like one of their best players. Like maybe Palhinha aside, he's arguably want to be one of their better players. Anthony Elanga, I thought good for him. Like he needs to get out of United. It wasn't working at United. It just didn't seem like he was getting anything out of it. And he's gone to Forest and he's looked decent, man. Like he's looked really, really good.
Yeah,
he's quick. He's got a quality pass about him, and he's starting to get assists now, which is what you want from these sort of wingers, left side and right side forward. So I'm well happy for him, man. I'm glad that he's gone on. He's having a career, which just shows like when you leave United, it doesn't mean like you can't have a career or you can't be successful in the Premier League. Like so many players have left and gone have a successful career. Yeah, you might not be at United, but like you can still have a very good career and a very successful career. So I'm really happy for him. I'm glad to see that he's gone there and he's doing well, and I hope it continues for him. I just hope he doesn't score against us or make a goal or something like that this weekend. So yeah, but I'm happy for him, man. It's good to see. it makes a change from, like, for example, like the likes of like Jesse Lingard, who thinks he's better than going to certain clubs, and he went to Nottingham Forest on a year contract because they were willing to offer him a shit ton of money compared to West Ham, who offered a multi-year contract as part of a team. So, and look where he is now. He's not even got a club. So yeah, really happy, man. I hope it continues. Just not against us at the weekend.
It's a great point, that, to be fair, because Ilanga, I've never had an issue with his application or anything like that. Like, the kid seems to train really well. Any professionals you speak to or listen to, always mention him. He's in shape. I think that was the perfect move for him in that sense. And I'm even buzzing for him. Like we said, as long as he doesn't score against us, I'm happy for him to bag 20 goals for him. That stat that came out actually about him, about the fact he had more goals than our attackers at that one point, was like, Jesus Christ, man.
The wrong Anthony,
what is going on here?
We've got the wrong Anthony.
Yeah, it's mad. Absolutely mad. Another player who's important for them, Shrey, as in Sangare, who's another player we spoke about fucking loads of times on his channel as well, will miss this game because he's picked up 5 yellow cards now. So that'll be a massive miss for Forest, won't it?
Yeah, and I think Forest are a team that have been struggling with their CDM position. I think they've played Dominguez in that position a few games. They played Sangare. Sangare is a very talented player, no doubt about it, but he's really inconsistent. Like, when he's good, he can be a very good dictator on the pitch. When he's bad, that midfield cannot function altogether. And I think if you have to compare all the players they have and can play that position, Sangare is one of the best they've got. And now that he's gone as well, I think midfield is an area where we can actually exploit them a lot. If Bruno is able to, be in the right positions and Eriksen is able to be in the right positions, I think we can really hurt them. Because I think alongside us, they are a team that have been struggling very much when it comes to their midfield. And at least a pro with us is we still got players who can do good in their positions. Like Bruno in the 10 works really well. Menu in the 6 works really well. Eriksen in the 8 works really well. The problem with Forest is they've got 10s. Like Dominguez works well in 10. Morgan Gibbs-White works really well in the 10 as well. But when it comes to them, center mid and the central defensive midfield, that's where they're still lacking a combination. They expected Sangare to be someone who takes that equation completely out, but he's not been as great. He's been really inconsistent. So I think with the lack of options they've got, it is an area where United can actually have a little bit more freedom.
I think one thing I'd say about Forest as well, Sam, they've got a massive squad, man. Like, they've bought so
players,
many fucking an unreal amount of players. So trying to keep that many happy was obviously hard for him. And then obviously they got rid of Sneeze Cooper, one of our favourite managers. Was that the right decision, do you think?
I think last season he had a bit of a wobble, didn't he, last season? And they stopped winning and he pulled them through it. And I think after that he was probably on thin ice. He was probably like, we're established Premier League side now. We need to progress and push on. And I think Cooper is a good manager to get you promoted and establish yourself in the league, but he's maybe not the guy to push on, because they have got a bit of money, haven't they, Forest? They've got an owner who's willing to splash the cash, as we see. So I assume they've got ambitions above staying out of relegation every year. I assume they've got Europa League or Europa Conference ambitions. So maybe it was time to move on, because they were on a slide. They weren't looking good, and they were getting beat quite heavily as well at certain teams. They were handing out beatings. So maybe it was the right time. I feel sorry for him, because clearly the Forest fans liked him a lot. He seemed to get a lot of affection from the Forest fans, and he'd been there a while as well. He'd been there.
Been with him a long time, promotions through leagues and stuff.
It's always sad when a long-term manager goes, but football's brutal, man. It's a brutal sport, and there's no room for sentimentality a lot of the time, unfortunately. Is Nuno the right one? I don't know. He did all right at Wolves when he was there. Wasn't pulling up any trees, was he? And since he's gone, I think Lopetegui sort of didn't quite hit the game, which I was just surprised about. And then Gary O'Neill's coming in, he's absolutely smashing it. Just absolutely tearing it up. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. I still think they're in danger of getting relegated this season unless they go on a run now. Who did they beat last week? Beat someone.
Newcastle. Wolves, Newcastle.
No, yeah. Forest beat Newcastle. So unless they beat Newcastle, then they beat us, then they beat, you know what I mean? You get 4 or 5 games in a row. I think they're still relegation contenders. But yeah, let's see what happens. Time will tell, won't it, if it was the right decision to let him go or not. If Nuno keeps him up or he sort of progresses him.
It's funny, I saw a stat saying that in the time that Nuno's gone to Saudi Arabia, sort of like 2 years or whatever it was, he's come back and beat a top 9 team away from home before Eric Ten Hag has. I was just like, oh, fuck's sake, man.
That's a
like,
depressing stat.
We need to sort that record out away from home. Of course, can't do it against Nottingham Forest because they're like fucking, I don't know, 17th or something, but it's something that's still in the back of my mind going into these kind of games. Right, let's do some quick fire questions. Saturday evening, 5:30 kickoff at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United. Will Elanga score or get an assist?
No.
I think he gets an assist.
Okay. Will we concede more than one?
No.
Not more than one, no.
Any surprise selections?
No.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Unless someone gets injured.
Yeah. Which also would not surprise you.
Yeah.
Who would you take any Nottingham Forest player currently?
I would have took Sangare, but he's not looked great.
I don't mind Sangare. I thought he's been alright.
He looked great at, was it PSV he was at?
I think he's been okay for Forest personally, but
I don't know. At PSV, he looked fantastic.
I still think that I would rather bank on Meno or just Casemiro rather than bring him in.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't. I would have took before we got. Well, maybe we've still got. Oh no, I would have took Navas. I think he was a good keeper. Obviously, he's not there anymore. So.
I really like Navas, to be fair.
Yeah.
What about South Shreyas? Did you mention anyone?
No one.
No. Okay. Who will be the one to watch this game? Do you think?
From us or their side? Onana is definitely one to watch every game.
Oh God, please no.
Every game.
I think Elanga's one for them. I think former club, he's at home, he's going to want to prove something, so he's definitely going to watch him. And then for us, it's going to see if sort of people like Garnacho and Højlund can kick on. See if
I'm hoping we can
continue on the thing, because we've seen Garnacho have games where he's not looked great at all. So it'd be good to see that. And hopefully them two kick on. I'm not worried about Kobe Manu because I think he's looked fine.
Yeah, he's just mentioning it regardless.
So I don't worry too much about him, but the other two, I think you need to watch them.
Yeah. Well, you look at the mistake he made against West Ham, obviously giving the ball away, and then the next week just plays like it was like it's not even in the back of his mind, just completely.
To be fair to him, he was left by himself by Scott McTominay, so it's just like.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
It doesn't help, does it, at all? Right, should we do predicted 11s then, and let me know who's first up if possible.
You and Shreyas have got the same one, so.
True. Yeah. Well, do we want to discuss the logic behind that, Shreyas? Because it's just simple as like. You don't want to change it up, do you?
Yeah, just go with the winning combination. No need to change. Ten Hag has favored a winning combination when we've won in the season before. So I don't really think that, after that sort of a performance that we had against Villa, who are, probably still in contention for winning the league right now, I think he should go with an unchanged 11.
Yeah. Sam, what are you saying? You've made changes?
Yeah, so I'm sorry to do this because you're not going to like it. But
Go on.
I think he puts McTominay.
Have you put McTominay in?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
I think he's going to put him back in.
What possible reason could he have for putting McTominay back in that midfield?
He wants to ruin our day. Like, he really wants to ruin our day at this point.
If McTominay does, or Ten Hag.
One of the two, both of them.
Yeah.
I just think he is obsessed with getting McTominay into this team somehow. Like, he's got this thing in his head that McTominay is a massive key part of this team, and he has to somehow fit him into it. So I've just got this. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope your team is the team that comes out. So I think McTominay comes back in, but I really hope I'm wrong. Shaw was a minor injury, so I've put him in.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think Shaw, if fit, starts this team instead of Dallo at left back. I think he starts.
Yeah.
So,
to be fair, I don't think Gallo was bad though, was he?
No, he wasn't bad
in
at
the last
all.
game.
But I think
Good.
Shaw is like one of the people. If he's fit, he plays.
Yeah, of course.
So I think he comes back in if he's fit, but I'm not sure on his injury status. But we'll see. But yeah, I hope I'm wrong. The rest of the team's exactly the same, but I really do hope I'm wrong on the McTominay thing. But I've just got a bad feeling.
And there's only one thing left to do. Sorry, score prediction. Shreyas, kick us off.
I think 2-1 United.
Okay, interesting. Who scores, do you think?
Hoyland and Rashford.
Nice. Samuel?
I'm going with the same score, 2-1.
We all gone with the same score.
We all gone
Who
2-1.
do you think's going to score?
I hope Ireland. I hope he gets another goal just to shut people up. That'd be great. And then let's see Rashford get a goal, man. Because my God, he needs. He needs to start scoring. He needs to start fucking scoring. And then Ilanga's going to assist Chris Woods. And my pun was I couldn't find a way to fit it in, but you can't see the Chris Wood through the forest.
I like that. Yes, I do like that.
I couldn't find a way to fit it anywhere in the show, but that was my pun.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't turn up like Prime Adriano again, because he's going to be a problem if he does. Like I said, I'm going with 2-1. I think probably Bruno Fernandes free kick penalty, something like that. I reckon we'll get on the score sheet. The other one, I don't know. I hope Rashford, like you said, gets a goal because he needs that bit of confidence. If he can start scoring, Hoyland's got that kind of weight off his shoulders. Garnacho's flying. You can start, all three of them collectively then scoring. So I hope that happens. I hope we're all right because regardless whatever scoreline it is, it'll be 3-0. It'll be 3-0. It'll be 3 points. Sorry. And yeah, we'll keep climbing up that table. I don't know why I said 3-0 then. Let's hope it's fucking 3-0. I don't know.
I'll take 3-0. I'll take 3-0.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Hopefully we batter him. Hoyland hat-trick. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? We shall leave it at that. Please do leave your score predictions in the comment section for us. Smash a like on the video if you think we're going to beat Nottingham Forest. Subscribe to Real Reds Talk and check us out on socials as well. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. Me, Sam and Treyas will see you guys for the game tomorrow. See you in a bit.
We want